address some of the concerns at Plummer Park. Clearly, the impacts to any major construction project are going to be significant, and it would be we wouldn't be honest with the community if we were saying we're moving forward with a project of this significance and magnitude without having impacts to the use of the park. We are working right now with the various users and the various stakeholder groups at the park to examine the opportunities for mitigation, and we think it's best to really be doing that at the ground level. We do have staff who's interacting with the community at the park, and we will come back to the council with a comprehensive mitigation plan. When looking at the stages of the park, there are some agreements and disagreements in terms of the architecture, in terms of some of the style that was integrated into the design. But a lot of those issues are subjective. It's like you're looking at a piece of art, and everybody has an opinion. Those are a little bit more difficult to resolve. Frankly, the designs there are somewhat spectacular. They're somewhat aggressive, and when we did the design for the east side, we felt as though the east side did deserve outstanding architecture. It was deserving of something special and something spectacular and something similar to the room that we're in here today, similar to the building that houses this room, that it is aggressive and something that would be memorable. The one area that continues to be one of the focal points is the underground parking. The underground parking does add parking spaces to the park. It adds about 70 parking spaces to the park. But more importantly, it adds approximately an acre of green space to the park. Land in this town is very expensive, especially if we were to approach some of the neighboring businesses, which right now are very successful businesses. That would be a long and drawn-out fight to secure those properties, and it would cost significantly more money to purchase the property next to the park versus using a creative development technique, which we did use here in West Hollywood Park with the plinth parking deck. However, we are examining what those opportunities would look like outside of the park if we were to build a parking structure. The parking structure would not be adjacent to the park, but it would be close enough to the park for people to use it, but it's going to create other adverse impacts. I think some of the people who don't want the underground parking will be satisfied with it. Some of the people who live next to a 5-story parking structure may not be happy with it, but those are the types of trade-offs that we will present once we fully examine what the opportunities are. And prior to moving forward with an RFP or prior to any groundbreaking, there will be another discussion here at the City Council. Also, from an educational standpoint, at the next council meetings and at council meetings from now on, we will have an information table in the lobby with staff to help answer some of the questions that have been raised at tonight's meeting. And I'm going to look to the council. Do you have any other questions for me on Plummer Park? And then I'll move on to the special event item.
Any questions for the city manager on his Plummer Park report or any other direction?
Is there a timeline for the mitigation plan?
When it's done, we want to get this done right, and again, we're balancing impacts, and we want to be as thorough as we can before we go public and present that to you.
Great. All right, Paul, go ahead.
The item regarding